Good to have you on the program. A storied career in both the NFL and in the American military. Welcome.
Well, thank you very much for having me. Yes, I apologize for being a couple minutes late.
That's okay.
But
hey, listen, it happens. We roll with it here on the morning show. I've messed with time all the time. Real quick, by way of background, you were on the storied Pittsburgh Steelers team. You were 4 Super Bowls, 9, 10, 13, and 14, all kinds of awards, lots of rushing yards. And then, of course, I think my listeners are more interested in your service to the American military. You served in Vietnam 68 to 70 as a specialist, Bronze Star Medal and Purple Heart recipient. Thank you for your service to our country. And that, of course, impacted your football career when you came back. But you rose to the challenge and ended up becoming a starting player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Without further ado, given your connection to the military, tell us about the upcoming event. And gosh, I feel old, Rocky. 50th?
I know, 50th. Well, do you think you feel old?
Well, yeah, yes. You were there. 50 years since the March 29th, 73, when the final U.S. fighting soldiers withdrew from Vietnam. The anniversary is coming up, 50th anniversary tribute to the Vietnam War veterans. And so you're going to be speaking at this event. So tell my listeners all about it, Rocky.
All right, fine. So we have on March 29th, okay, from 6 to 9 over at Xavier University's Cintas Center. And it's free of charge for all veterans and the public. But now here's the important thing, but the attendees must register by March 24th at honor-vets-event-org.
Well, we made it easy, Rocky. We have 55KRC.com. It's right there. The link is there. So you remember that
terrific
one. My listeners at 55KRC.com on my blog page is going to be right there, the link to the event where you can sign up. And they have to sign up by what date again, sir?
It's on March 24th.
March 24th.
March 24th. Yeah, so it's all free, you know. And the great thing is, obviously, want all veterans to show up. Want the Vietnam veterans, obviously, to be able to show up. And let's take a look at these past 50 years. And for the Vietnam veteran, the initial part of maybe the first 20 years was not well appreciated by the American people for their fight in Vietnam. And so, unfortunately, during that period of time, and just a little past history, the soldier, unlike today, was identified with the conflict. And so, on their return, coming back, in the 60s or in the early part of the 70s, that soldier at times were asked to change into civilian clothes.
Yeah.
Please do not wear your army fatigues. They had to repress their feelings. They were spat upon. They were looked down upon by the American people because American people at that time identified the soldier with the conflict rather than separating the two. And so it was a big healing process that had to ultimately take place years later. But for the Vietnam veteran, unfortunately, and you'll hear this, and I've heard this many, many times, is that, my dad never talks about it, or
right.
My uncle never talks about it, my grandfather never mentioned it at all. And so they came back repressed, even to the fact that, they couldn't even talk about it themselves. And it's just that the American Legion wasn't embracing that veteran or the VFW, and so there was no place for them to go to kind of get some camaraderie and talk about their experience with one another. So they kind of just went back to work or went back to school or whatever they needed to do at that kind of time. And then it's only been recently, actually, the last maybe 30 years or so from the first Gulf War, as I would like to put it into perspective, that 3-week war that took place and was on television every night. And so for the first time, the American people embrace not only our soldiers, but the Vietnam veteran as well.
Yeah,
so that was the first time that they were thanked, et cetera, et cetera. And so today we find the people appreciated veterans as a whole, and especially that Vietnam veteran.
And
so this is that kind of a celebration that at least they get recognized, and as they've had, but being able to celebrate 50 years.
Well, for someone who served in Vietnam and also lived through that post-Vietnam tragedy, that was the spitting on soldiers and not acknowledge them. Imagine the horror of war, generally speaking, the post-traumatic stress one that struggles with, and then to have the compounding effect of your own countrymen not looking favorably upon you. It just had to be a traumatic burden. So I'm glad we've come a long way since then. Rocky Bleier, the 50th anniversary tribute to Vietnam veterans. Rocky's going to be speaking at it. There's entertainment by the Remains, also a Bob Hope impersonator, stories from Vietnam veterans, recognition of veterans from all eras and military branches, and a special ceremony just for the Vietnam veterans. Starts at 6 p.m., Cintas Center, Xavier University campus. The information, 55KRC.com. Rocky, on behalf of my listeners, from the bottom of our collective hearts, thank you for your service to our country and your ongoing service to veterans. And congratulations on a storied football career as well.
Well, I appreciate it, Brian, very much. But the most important thing, and thank you for getting the message out, is just that, getting the message out that all veterans are welcome to this celebration. And I think it'll be a blast out of the past, so to speak, and how they've arranged it. And the music that will go with the time and the themes and so on. I think it'll be a wonderful evening. Not because I'm there, please. Come because you're a veteran and you need to be thanked for your service. And so that becomes the important thing.
Indeed. Thank you, Rocky Bleier, for being there and supporting the event. And we'll get the word out to my listeners as we did today, 55krc.com, where you get the information.